wouldn't call it a great goal because the ball went over my head. So, and Frank turned around to me, he hit me with the hurley, he says, I shouldn't be there anyway, he says, in the first place, because I was the smallest man in the line. That's how I got over my head. But I know, I haven't said that, like, to the great win for Birr, like, you know, that year. The stops was, I think, going for 5 or 6 in a row. It's hard inside, like, you know. I don't like going to matches sitting on the side, because I'm no good to look sitting on the sideline, because I'm so much involved, you know. I get no enjoyment out of it all, you know. So I picked PJ McOlive and I picked Finbar Spain that year. So PJ Dr. PJ was a selector with me. Yeah. He was that year. I brought him in that year and he was a doctor the whole lot for us, you know. And they were a great team. Birr was a great team. But people say it's easy to train a good team like Brian Cody, Kilkenny. Brian Cody, hell, it's not that easy. You got to get organised. Like here, that man there working today, get ready. It doesn't happen just you walk in and everything happens, you know. You have problems. You can have problems down the line, and you know.
And how did you find?
But we done things different than everybody else. That's all I have to say. One thing, like 2 weeks before an All-Ireland semi-final, 3 weeks, we would go on a weekend boozing. Cork, Cavan, anywhere. The bus goes, train that day. Everybody go off, get drunk. Back next day, on the bus, go home. Then we start back train again. We always done that, didn't we?
We did, yeah. But
it rewind the whole thing around again, you know.
It's something to look forward to.
Yeah, we done things different, like, you know. Yeah. Our standards, we set our standards so high that we wouldn't play a club team in off season. It had to be a county team. Galway, Wexford, Tipperary, Kilkenny. They were up and down. You had your up and downs in them. You know, they wasn't that bad now. It's off the field is the problem, it's really in Birr, you know. The talk, you know. You have to deal with that as well, you know. But why I met so many enemies in Birr is I listened to nobody and myself, and we done what we thought best. You know, I wouldn't go into a pub. I thought there was fellas in there going to talk about hurling all night. I just walk away. No, I wasn't interested.
And what was it like managing your own sons now?
It's no different from Johnny Piddle or Declan or the Cahals or the Hannafys. Same thing. They were treated the same way.
If we were bad, he dropped us, like, you know, and he had dropped me, like, you know, for a game against Ballyhale, like, you know, and he told me, and he says, the week before you're not playing. I says, fair enough. I says, I just hurt myself after the quarter final. We played Tullamore that year, and I wasn't able to do the training, and it affected me, like, you know, it affected my performance, and it took me off a half time in the county final. He did, and he was right to do so, like, you know. But then he told me then, for the Leinster semi-final, I wasn't playing against Ballyhale, and I don't mind at the time. I was flying it. I was able to do the training, and he says, no, I'm not playing. I says, well, fair enough. I says, okay, at least he taught me that just. And he's taught me in advance, like, you know, it wasn't the night before and like that, like, you know, that's heartbreaking, like.
Well, the thing is that he came in and won the game for us. Yeah. That was the nicest thing about it, you know. But then when you're involved in the GAA so much like I was, you don't really feel it because they're all part of the family in our world. Do you understand? Because your our house down there there could be 6 lads staying or 8 lads staying. You know, that was our house. It's an open house. You're never stuck. Like, you're never stuck anywhere to stay. You come down. You know. That's the way it was, you know.
One of the young lads was afraid to go home.
Yeah,
like Taffy, for instance, he'd always be there.
Yeah, Taffy would be there. But
we weren't never strong enough. We'd say I never won any underage medals growing up, except for one under-21 medal when I was 16. But it's we always thereabouts. We always got to semi-final, final, but we never got over the finish line, like, you know, at underage. But that all changed when we hit 18, 19 years of age, and the likes of Claffey and Barry and Gary Hannafy, like, we all came together, and for a group of lads that never won underage medals, we've 10, 11 county medals, like, you know. So I think that what we take out of it is we lost so much, we were so determined to win something, and then when we got winning, we loved it and we stayed on winning. We had great following outside the town. It was just the support we had outside the town was fantastic. Even though in the club game in the county, everybody's shouting against you, and that's understandable, like, you know. But as soon as we won a county title, it's like the whole county got excited. Here to go again, you know. We're going to be on it. This will break the winter for us now. We're going to follow Birr now through thick and thin, and that was it. And that's the way it was. And it was always special when you won it, like, you know, because we always knew we always had a decent chance of progressing, like, you know. And like, I know we won 4 All-Irelands and 7 Leinsters. We lost 3 or 4 Leinsters finals. You know what I mean? As well, on top of that, like, you know, so like we were there the whole time, like 97, 98, we played Clarecastle, and that was
a great game. Yeah,
it was the probably the happiest moment and the biggest kick in the arse you ever got in about 2 minutes. You know, like we drew with them the first day. Second day we drew with them, went to extra time. We won by a point. I'll never forget, we were jumping around the place. I was only 21, 22 at the time, and it's a brilliant feeling, like we're in a club final. I walk into the restaurant, and next thing you're told Tommy already had passed, and it was just like a bomb hit the place. It was just pure silence and pure joy, you know, in the same feeling. But we just couldn't believe it at the time, like, you know, and that memory for that year would always stick out in my head, like, you know, in 97, like, you know, because he used to go to all the training sessions. He was always there at all the practice matches. He was great. He's a great man. That year in particular, that will stick out in my head. And I'll never forget going to Paddy's Day, playing against Sarsfields, who were a great side at the time, and coming to the end. I had no fear at all. I knew we were going to win, like, you know. I'll never forget the boys trained the whole winter, January, February, and I couldn't train. I was watching them, and I was there, and I was doing my gym work, and I was doing physio, the whole. I never put on weight. That's all I did is put on weight. And we went up to Clones, who played Dunline. Clones, and Dunline were a fantastic team at the time as well, and they're just unlucky to come across Birr every time, like, you know. And we were in awful trouble in the game. We were in awful trouble, and I was strapped from ankle to my thigh, and I could barely move, like, you know. But I was the free taker, and Daddy, he played me anyway. He says, "How was it feel?" Like, you know, I felt terrible, but I wanted to play it, like, you know. And I'll never forget, just always stick out in my head. A row broke out before half time, and the boys from Dunley, like, it's one in, all in with them, or I'd be thinking, I let them hit somebody get sent off, like, you know, and stay down if you get hit, like, you know. But they'd cut themselves at half time going into the dressing room, like, you know, and I started, oh jeez, this is brutal. And Johnny P obviously had a few pints the night before, and you could see him, he moved in corner forward. Johnny P moved in corner forward after 5 minutes, like, you know, that's wrong, like, you know, and his hair sticking up here like this, and he was struggling, like, you know. I'll never forget that year in my head. Brian stuck the hurl in my face at half time. I stuck the hurl in Johnny's face at half time. Nobody does that to Johnny, like, you know. And he was frightened shame on me, you know. I thought there was going to be a row between Brian and Johnny, like, you know. But Johnny had to put his head down because he knew he'd done wrong, like, you know. And I turned out to him. I went out to the field in the second half. Why are you giving out to me? He says, you know, I'm barely able to walk. It's like, it's not my fault that, you know, we're losing. So lo and behold, anyway, I ended up scoring a couple of 1-4, 1-5, like, in the second half. Everything went well for Steve Brown, got a goal. We got a very lucky goal. Liam Power claims it, but Steve Brown got it. But Paul Malloy came on then and changed the game for us, like, you know, and we ended up winning it. And I didn't have a good final myself, but I didn't care as long as Birr won, and that's the way it was. And that's the way it always was with me. I don't care who plays well as long as we win, and the most important thing is the Birr win, like.
As I was, the one player we did use for the one player I always used for the hard job was Liam Power. I always kept him for. I would start him and take him off. He was always told that. I started him when I shouldn't have started him, but I put him on because I wanted to put him on to stop a fella from hurling, and he knew that, and he always done his job. That's one thing I'd say about him.
Great servant.
He was a great servant to the club, and I suppose the one game. I know there's a whole lot of games that could go. You could think about them all. There was one game I kind of personally felt it was a kind of a player versus player thing with DJ and Brian.
Yeah.
They in Portlaoise, missed the final. And you know, they were being built up that time, two of them was Kilkenny Offaly, and so yeah, we came out and
When we were coming to the end,
we came out on top that day, you know. We came out on top that day eventually, and I felt the satisfaction was great in the dressing room after, you know.
Hubie Rigney and Martin Hannamy, they were. Hubie was just like, I've heard him often. He was just an animal of a man, you know, and to feel the way of his hurler like that, it was 3 times away if you're on hurler. And when he pulled it, he was making sure he's following through, like, you know, and he was taking man ball all the time, like, you know. Same with Hannamy as well, like, you know. Oh yeah, he'd try hurt you, like, you know, and if he got an opportunity at all, he'd take it, like, you know, and he was just as tough as nails. And the only thing was, if you showed a slight bit of fear against him, they go to town on you. So you sort of had to be a little bit mad yourself going in against them, like, you know, and say, right, okay, I'm going to get hit today, I'm going to get broke up.
The one I always talk about was Mick Roach in Tipperary. Playing in Birr here one day, and I was a Mick Roach anyway, and I was, you know, we're having a great battle. It's a great old, I heard him a few times before, you know. This ball came out of the air and they went, I'd be small man towards Mick now, but the twos went for it, and I went up, and I came down with the ball in my hand, and we fell to the ground, and Mick was in front of me, and I showed him the ball. He got up and he scored 2 points in 90 yards. I said the one man I had a great runs in was Pat Henderson, County. And they said the best friend I ever had hurling, I used to hurl him an awful lot too, about 6'3", big Dan Quigley. But me and John Quigley never got on now, little John. Remember John Quigley?
I don't remember John.
I used to call him the pig, you know. But you meet different. You meet tired men. I remember one day over in Birr GAA hurling against Tipperary, I went for a 50-50 pull with Len Gaynor. By years, you know, everything went. Oh, they were tough men, you know. Tough men.
I remember going to back in the 80s when he was training Kiltimer Daly, going and travelling there. Like, you know, even when he was training Rhinus back in 1990 to bet Birr in the county final, like, you know, I was 12, 13, going to all the training sessions back then as well. Like, you know, when he was over the Offaly Minors, I used to go to all the training sessions. Then Brother Vincent and Tony Sampson, I just think they were brilliant in the school. Like, you know, they were, that national school down there missed them something shocking. Like, you know, and I know Tony's in a different school now. He taught me as well. Like, you know, he's a huge loss to the school, and you can see now at the moment in this present time, it's just that it's after dying a horrible death down there, and it's horrible to see, you know. And then I see 6 miles out the road what he's doing out in Carrigan Riverstown, and they have an unbelievable camogie team coming through. Like, you know, they're just dominating so much now under 14s, 16s, and that's all the result of him, because he was just hurling mad, you know. And that's what you need now, and that's what national schools need, I think, for hurling to stay alive within the county. Obviously, like, you know, you have a great respect for him. He's always going to be the best hurler I ever seen. You can never get anything over him, and the only thing that I have over him is I do be slagging him about the Fantastic Four, Brian, Joe, Gary and myself, and I says, you got 2 opportunities, he says, to make us the famous 5, you know. And I says, you couldn't do it, like, you know. But then